Hi, this is Greg Bolan, Chairman and Founder of Another Way Recovery Services. I am going to be doing a set of series that talks about my story and how I ended up where I ended up. Those of you who are struggling with addiction, alcoholism, what have you, will hear something you can relate to. There is hope for you. If done properly, we can develop the tools to effectively arrest what is a chronic or otherwise known as an incurable disease, and that is addiction. I grew up in the South, moved to several states, came from a divorced family, lots of dysfunction. Along the years, I developed a very short temper. Once I graduated high school, I was approached by several military recruiters. I chose the Army Infantry. I'm very grateful for the instructors, my platoon sergeants, the sergeant major, my battalion, for helping me. Once I completed my time in the Army, I decided it was time to go to college. I wanted to stay close to my family, so I attended Emory University with the thought that I wanted to be a psychologist. It was recommended to me that I should pursue potentially a business degree. And so I did. Transferred over to the Guazetta Business School at Emory University my junior year. Finished up there in May of 2002, and I graduated top 10% of my class. Just so you know, I had no real addiction. Went into the financial industry, Wall Street, where I would spend the next 13 or 14 years, eventually rising to the level of managing director in equity research. Definitely did start to drink more, as part of our job was to go out and entertain clients and pitch investment ideas to these institutional investors. I loved my job, but unfortunately the travel time was intense. I had gotten married and we were expecting a little boy, and I had to start thinking about the future and how I wanted to be as a father. I wanted to be around. I was extremely depressed, decided to leave the industry, and I started to drink. This turned into a 9-year run. I was arrested multiple times, had never had any criminal issues in the past. Said and did a lot of hurtful things to people, my loved ones, while I was intoxicated. Of course, I didn't remember the next day what I said, what I did. Burned a lot of bridges. Over that course of 9 years, I hit personal bottom after personal bottom after personal bottom. And over the course of those 9 years, I was in 7 residential treatment programs. It was always the same routine, the same programming, the same material, 12-step program, daily check-ins, AA meetings all day long. And I got to see my primary counselor individually once a week for an entire 4-week stay. Otherwise, it was all group psychotherapy. And there were maybe 2 clinical associates who effectively just kind of watched us. I personally never responded to the 12-step program. Well, it took me 9 months just to write my 4th step one time. I ended up relapsing. However, I did finish the 12-step program 3 times. Again, it just didn't work for me. Eventually sought out individual counseling with an addictionologist, and that is ultimately what got me sober, was individual therapy, very intensive, and getting down to the roots of what typically is festering underneath or side by side the disease. Ironically, after my 9-year run, I had bought a business, turned it around, sold it, eventually ended up becoming a part of corporate finance at a large treatment operation. At that point, I had done so much damage in my life that I lost my family, nearly burned all my family bridges, my friendships, co-workers, you name it. Although I was sober, I was more abstinent than anything else. I just acted in a very belligerent way towards others, especially those who reported to me. The last relapse, I was effectively what they call in the industry, and I hate this word, but to be honest with you, this is what we use in the program. I was effectively a dry drunk. I was abstinent. I wasn't truly sober. There is a difference, I can assure you. The last relapse only lasted 6 days. And in those 6 days, I attempted to get back to where I was before in terms of level of usage. And that was typically about a 1.75 liter bottle of vodka, plus a 12 pack of beer, and about 4 milligrams of Xanax to top it off per day. That's per day. I nearly lost my life. I was probably about a millimeter from losing my life after that 6-day run. My body couldn't handle it. My mind couldn't handle it. I broke. I would then spend the next 2 or 3 months in an institution. And when I got out, I was so scared about how I behaved just in those 6 days that I knew that I had to make a change. So I started reading. I'm more of a binary scientific mind. I only believe in things that I can see and that I can prove. This is why I ultimately pursued a treatment methodology that worked best for me. Cognitive behavioral therapy, some smart recovery, a lot of self-discipline, a regimented schedule per day in terms of what I'm doing. And over time, the cravings went away. When I get stressed out, of course, the first thing my disease tells me to do is, you should have a drink. But I know that if I have that drink, I'm probably not coming back. I have an 11-year-old son, and that is, I can assure you, enough motivation to keep you sober. We feel like our program thus far has proven quite effective, and therefore we decided to move away from what originally was a private pay model to a model which makes it much more affordable for a lot of folks. And so we decided to pursue insurance contracts with commercial carriers. And we have won 7 thus far in the past couple of months in Tennessee, probably 3 more to come in Tennessee pretty soon. We are also attacking Georgia and North Carolina simultaneously to win insurance contracts there as well. We are what they refer to as a PCMSO, otherwise known as a friendly physician partnership. We have 2 of them. We have doctors, psychiatrists, therapists, case managers, detox nurses, everyone that you would possibly need to stay sober when confronted with relapse triggers, which will invariably happen because it's reality. Once you are able to do that over time, we feel that your probability of success, the rate of relapse for our patients, at least what we've seen so far, are well less than the 70+% that we've seen in treatment facilities. And just so you know, 100%, including myself, of our staff have worked in treatment facilities for decades. Combined, our medical and clinical staff have over 100 years of experience treating substance use disorder, using multiple treatment modalities from the 12-step program all the way down to CBT, DBT, smart recovery, meditation, all these things that might appeal to you and be most efficacious based on your beliefs and your idiosyncrasies. I'm glad you've taken the time to listen to me. We are here to help. Our number one mission is to save lives and get you sober and stay sober. And so for those loved ones who are listening to me now, once you get into the traditional treatment facility mode, it can just repeat over and over and over. There are people that have been in treatment 13, 15, 20 times, and it just doesn't work. We just want to make sure, again, to get you sober. That's kind of the easy part because that's the detox. The hard part is keeping you sober in a real life setting, but we're doing it every day. And we hope that if you are struggling or if you have a loved one who is struggling, check us out. Read our literature. Our website's right there, www.awrecoveryservices.com, and you can see our philosophy and how we think about things. Over time, of course, we will be presenting data outcomes once we have a sample size of patients that are large enough to be statistically significant in terms of a data analysis, and I look forward to that day and presenting those data. We're here 24/7 to answer your questions, and if need be, admit you into our very unique at-home detox and recovery services program. Thanks so much for your time.